anyway, congrats on the movie. It's finally out. How do you feel? The Devil Be Hell.
A very long time.
It's
been a very long time. We shot this movie like over 3 years ago.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Almost 4 years ago, we shot this movie in Kentucky. So we're always like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? When's it coming out? And finally, it's out, and it's doing pretty well. So we're all very happy.
Thankfully, you guys didn't have to go through the whole COVID-19 like filming and protocols and socially distanced. I was about to ask you that you guys kind of like avoided that completely.
We did avoid it for this movie, but I actually just shot a new Netflix series up in Toronto in October. I still got to experience a little bit of what it was like. It's strange at first with, all the safety protocols and the masks and all that. But after a day or two on set, it just kind of seems normal.
No, I mean, it's what we're all doing, kind of like adapting, and we make the most out of it. So it's okay. Yeah. But anyway, this is it's a thriller movie about like a group of adventurers that kind of go from location to location, kind of investigating, and you guys end up like at mountains in an interesting location. And let's just say like a lot of like horrific, thrilling things start to go down. Can you tell us a little bit? Tell us a little bit about the movie and your character involved in it.
The movie's about this group of scientists who kind of go down to this old mining town called Shookham Hills to discover where all these people just suddenly disappeared. And you think they're going there for mining, and then you realize there's a few ulterior motives from people in the crew. My character, I kind of said yes to this role after I was talking with our director, Brad Parker, who directed me in Chernobyl Diaries as well. Okay. So he sent me the script, and I know he was like, this movie's super hardcore. He's like, it's very like intense. He goes,
what was your first impression? Like when you got the script?
He goes, you can make people laugh if you want. And he's like, we can use some levity in this movie. Right. So that was a big reason why I did it. I got to, be kind of a funny guy in the movie for a while. And
I was ask you that kind of your acting trajectory has been kind of focusing on comedy, films, series. So when I saw this movie, I was like, oh, this is kind of like out of character for what he's been doing for a while. And I thought it was really interesting that you kind of branched out to other like genres and other ways of acting, but still managed to keep that little comedy aspect.
That's I try to not pigeonhole myself into one genre, into one.
It's great. I noticed. God, wow, good for him.
I've done a lot of comedy. I've done a bunch of horror films. I've done dramas. I've done romantic comedies. But like I said, for this, it was really cool to work with. It was cool to work with Brad Parker again. He's my buddy, and he's a wonderful director. And I knew once he was attached to it, this film was going to be pretty cool. So.
No, amazing. And he kind of said that this movie was kind of like a modern day like monster story. Like it would thrill you in, like the audience, and it was very interesting, and I thought it was very different. So congrats for that, to keeping like your diversity and kind of like variety of projects open.
Well, thank you so very much. Yeah, it's one of the things I love shooting with. One of the things I love about working with Brad is, the places he takes you to make movies. When we did Chernobyl Diaries, we were in real locations in Serbia and Budapest. Right. And when we did this film, we were in the mountains and quarries and mines of Kentucky and the woods. And it's just great. It creates, great production value. It allows the actors to really step into their characters. And it adds to the whole creepiness of the film.
No, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. I imagine like if it has us, the audience, kind of like falling off of our seats, kind of like, okay, what's happening? Kind of suspense into the movie. I feel, or I imagine how you guys are when you guys are filming. Like, do you guys get scared when things are about to go down?
For sure. And Brad likes to mess with the actors too. Brad always messes with the actors. Always. Yeah.
I always imagine that, like, okay, if we're scared, how are they? Or what were they going through when they were filming this?
Well, and that's the thing, because it's like, we're shooting this stuff. Sometimes you're shooting in a pitch black cave at like, 3:30 in the morning, and it's there's not a lot of acting sometimes. Sometimes it's real, and then they mess with you, and a lot of times what you see on screen is like real reactions.
No, definitely. I mean, I imagine you guys are human. You guys go through those emotions too. And how was the relationship with the cast and crew members? You got to work, Brad is an amazing director. We don't have to say that. We've acknowledged that already. But part of the cast is really amazing. Alicia, Dan.
Alicia is wonderful. She's my yummy pollo. That's what I call her. There was a restaurant.
Do you understand any Spanish?
What's that?
Spanish? Do you understand any Spanish when she's speaking?
Very little, very little. But there was a restaurant that her and I would always go to in Kentucky called Yummy Pollo. That was like our inside.
Oh, that's where the name comes from. Okay.
Yeah. Aiden Canto, who speaks fluent Spanish. So him and Alicia were always like, they were always chatting.
They could speak bad about you when you wouldn't even notice. Like,
but I knew I would always mess with Alicia on set. I was always scare her. And I always knew when I scared her really good.
You're already working in a scary movie. Why would you go out of your way and scare her? Like, that's such a bad thing.
I always knew when I scared her really good because she would start swearing at me in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
That's when I knew I got her really good. And then Chinaza and Zach Avery, the whole cast was great. And you know, when you spend that much time in a tiny space with everybody, everybody kind of gets along. Because we spent a lot of that movie in that truck, like shooting those in that truck scenes. So we're all just like, we're in the truck for like 12 hours a day together.
What else are you going to do? You're already doing a scary movie, horror film. You're going to scare them with whatever's going on around them. Yeah. And to wrap up, any future projects? I mean, you said that you just wrapped up filming for this Netflix movie.
So I just wrapped up filming a Netflix series called Sex Life, which will be out this summer, I believe. We don't have an exact release date yet, but it'll be this summer. And then I'm producing a couple things now. I'm producing a big Christmas movie for New Line and HBO Max with Neil Patrick Harris as our star, and Steve Zahn and June Diane Raphael. And then I'm also producing another film for John Legend's company.
No, you must be super excited. So during this quarantine, we were all watching films. You were working. You were kind of
working. It's there's no break for me, even though with COVID, it's I'm very fortunate too, though. I mean, a lot of it's a tough time. A lot of productions went down with this. A lot of productions got canceled and halted with the whole pandemic. But I'm very fortunate to be working on some projects that I can't wait for you guys to see. I think you're gonna love them.
Well, at the end of the day, that's all we have to do. Kind of figure out a way to continue and make the most out of it.
That's right.
Well, congrats on this film, The Devil Below. It's available now for streaming. Where can we find the movie?
You can find it on all the streaming platforms: Vudu, Amazon, Google Play.
All of it. Just Google it and find out. Enjoy it, and congrats on the new role, and good luck and best wishes on all your future endeavors.
Alejandra, thank you for having me.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and hopefully soon, whenever we can go back to our normal lives, I can interview you in person.
Sounds great. Count me in.